Alrighty. So, what is going on, people? I am here now. Here now. We are here now. And things are working. Dun, 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 dun. So, how's it going, everybody? I know you're probably not there, but if you are, you might want to say something. Getting ready? Just sitting back here as the things get ready to start. Come on. LSU is in the top of the fourth on the road. They're at bat. There are 2 outs. There are 2 men on. We're down 1-0 to Texas A&M. I'm not pissed off at all by this stuff. Just please get a hit. Just get a hit. Please. Get a hit. Please. Please get a hit. Yep. Gonna start at our usual 7 o'clock time. It's my 7 o'clock time, that is. Yes, sorry, Bob. We're gonna strike out. He's gonna strike out with 2 guys on, 2 outs, and we're gonna be down in the bottom of the 4th. Down 1-0. Come on, Arnold. Gotta get a hit here. Come on, damn it. Come on. Come on. I'm just looking at a stats broadcast of this, so. Yep, that's about right. Fun. So, leave 2 guys on in a game where you need to do everything. Alrighty, well, I think that we are at the point where it is 7 o'clock, and we can wait for people to get here, but considering I didn't really have much to say right now that matters, I might as well just jump the intro, or let's speak in the words. Do the intro right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Goal to Go. I am your host, Ben Schluter. This is episode 13 of Goal to Go Live. Yeah, I don't know how we've done that many either. Doesn't even feel real. I hope I didn't miscount, because that'd be really embarrassing. But I don't believe we did, so that would be nice. Yes. So, what do we have on the docket for tonight? Well, hopefully we'll have a guest. but they may be a bit because, I mean, nothing. You didn't hear anything out of my voice. I'm not pissed off at all still because freaking LSU can't take care of business when it needs to. Come on, guys. You got to solidify yourself in this tournament because you're not in the SEC tournament yet, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, what we got on the docket is a little bit of NFL news because while there wasn't much, a couple of things happened that I do want to talk about. We'll talk actually about LSU Baseball, about last week and what this weekend means for them as we start the road to Omaha. This gonna be a good time. You don't understand what it's like. You're gonna learn what it's like if you don't understand what it's like to follow college baseball, because I'm gonna be talking nonstop. Seriously, it's gonna become a bit of a focus for this program, just because there's a lot of college baseball. And when I say a lot of college baseball coming up, I mean, oh baby, we got a lot of college baseball coming up. So, yeah, got that. Then we got just my little thoughts on the NBA's new playoff format, which I've already done a rant on, but I did that pre-recorded, and if you haven't heard it, we can talk about it live. We also got some Major League Baseball stuff, because that happened. And then finally, Detroit have mercy, because there's been a bit of a situation at UDM. Plus, a small little thing if we even... No, that's it. That's what we'll do for the live episode. Because reasons. So, yeah. I don't know where to start. I guess we'll start by talking about Ryan Kerrigan. About the NFL stuff. Well, actually, no, let's talk about the Saints. Because we've been doing some moves. I believe in the last week, Trill Williams, a guy who we had signed as an undrafted free agent, he failed his physical, and we had to release him. I don't remember where he went, because, excuse the yawn there, because I think it was the Patriots or, like, the Jaguars or something. But yeah, that happened. Saints signed a few guys, and including one guy who was quite interesting, defensive tackle Lorenzo Neal. Yes, Lorenzo Neal. Like his dad, who also happened to play for the New Orleans Saints, which was something I had to double check, and then the Saints were like, yes, that was his dad, and I was like, thank you. I thought that might have been Ironhead Hayward that I was thinking of. Which isn't wrong, because Ironhead Hayward also played for the Saints. But, like, it was good to know that Lorenzo Neal played for the Saints. So, that was a thing. We signed 3 guys. One of the guys we signed, that dude out of Carroll, he retired from football to go to med school. You know, I've never heard of that. He got accepted into St. Louis University medical program, so... That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I've never heard of a guy just retiring from football because med school. Like, I mean, that's just weird. There's really nothing else to say. Dude was a pro football player, though, because he got paid like a few grand. You are the most annoying keyboard weird thingy I've ever met. And yes, Henlo, you have finally joined someone. Yeah, Saints had a player retire because he got accepted into med school, if you didn't hear me just say that. But yeah. Nice week-long career. Hey, you know what, though? He was a professional football player because they signed him and they paid him like a few grand. So, like, that's pretty good. I mean, he went to an NAIA school in Montana. So, it's pretty insane that he even became a pro football player. Like, Carroll is not a big school at all. It's very, very small. So, the fact that he happens to be he was a member of an NFL team at any point and got paid to do it, that's pretty good. But also, why did you take the position with the Saints if you weren't gonna tell them, hey, I got accepted in med school? Oh, wait, the money. Yeah, so that's a thing. Saints are still in the market for potentially a veteran cornerback. We'll see how that goes. Yes, money is pretty cool. The insightful words here. Only the greatest of insight on this program. But now let's get into the major news. And we start with the major news of Ryan Kerrigan. He was playing for the Washington football team last year. And now he's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles signed him to a 1-year deal. He's staying within the division. He's got, I think, since 2010, he's either got third or fourth most sacks against teams within his division by any player in the NFL. Like, only J.J. Watt in the AFC South and it's only two. It's J.J. Watt and Cam Jordan in the southern divisions of each conference have more sacks. And if I recall correctly, J.J. Watt will get another chance to do that because the Cardinals play the Texans and Colts and all this year. That'll be interesting. Yeah. Well, the thing is, while they play the Seahawks O-line, it's Russell Wilson. He's a mobile quarterback. He's a very mobile quarterback. Whereas in the AFC South, you've had... I can't think of anybody besides like Andrew Luck who had an offensive line, and I put that in air quotes. And then in the NFC South, Matt Ryan is just all I need to say. Yeah, I wish he had an offensive line. But then again, do I? Because if he did, then he'd be able to beat us this year, and I don't want him to do that, so... All I know is great job, Jaguars. You picked Blaine Gabbert over Russell Wilson, and then you drafted a punter before Russell Wilson. And then that punter wasn't any good for you, you idiots. But yeah, Ryan Kerrigan, 1-year deal. And I think it'll help the Eagles who don't have a defensive line. Or barely have a defensive line, so it's a good pickup. They needed it. What can I say? Also, you know what I learned is a bad idea? Podcasting and eating gummy bears. So, lesson for all of you out there. If you want to eat gummy bears, don't do it while podcasting. It's a lesson that we all need to learn at some point. Yeah, it's really bad. But then again, I know it's making you jealous that you don't have gummy bears. So, do I feel so bad about it? Also, how many times did your computer crash, bro? 5 or 6? Oh. So now you're on... Oh, goody. So you'll be in soon, hopefully. You know what's really annoying? The fact that once you get in here, you... Yes, in VC... Yes! Dipshit. I've never felt like just the complete and utter failure there to understand. Wow. A sad, sad thing. Because guess what? I think it's time. Well, dip here. Wait. Yes, sir. Anyway, because you might want to get in here, because we're about to talk about the fact that the Jaguars have officially signed Tim Tebow. Okay. Cool. He's wearing the number 85, which... I'm not making the joke that 5 Points Vids made on the Clickbait Sports today. Which, if you didn't hear, I'll just quote, because reasons. He said he was, quote, wearing the number 85 in honor of his former teammate, Aaron Hernandez. Yes. Yes, he did. Yep. That's what he said. I mean, whew. That made up for Tom Grossi dropping an F-bomb. It was great. Y'all gotta watch it. Ah, man. No, Hernandez played at Florida with Tim Tebow. They went to college together. But yeah, he's officially a tight end. None of y'all were supposed to see that. I am expecting a no from you right now. Do it. Because, okay, let's talk about this Tim Tebow crap. Fine, I'll start without you. Who cares? Who really cares? Oh my God, Tim Tebow is going to be a tight end. And who else were the Jaguars going to sign? I mean, there were so many great options they had, such as let me see. What were some options they had? Some crazy good options, like I'm just trying to find some of these options. You know, like a Marcus Baugh. Or Jared Cook is in LA, remember? You know, they could have had like a Marcus Baugh or a Cole Wick or a Ross Travis. Zach Ertz? No, he's not a free agent. I should stop being silent. Wait, this is boring you. Let's get back to this. Apologies. Yeah. No, just, please. Here's the thing. He's on a 90-man roster. 90 men. Okay. So either he makes the roster, which, by the way, would be embarrassing. Yeah, shut up. Oh, wait, that's exactly what you're doing, because you're stupid. Anyway, yeah. Either he makes the roster as a 35-year-old dude who's never played tight end before, who's now playing tight end, which would be embarrassing for a lot of guys. Or he doesn't, because he's outplayed. Didn't they, I don't know, draft a tight end in the 5th round? Oh, yeah, they did. So, I really don't think this should be much of a problem. And Des Bryant tweeted out a thing, but it was actually meant to garner attention. I don't know if that's true or not, and you're just trying to back off from criticism by, using that as your scapegoat, but I'll believe it because I have no reason not to. Yes. Well, if he wanted some competition, he could have gone to frickin' Philadelphia, where apparently everyone's gonna have competition. I have zero faith in Nick Sirianni. Oh my God. I've never had this little faith in a head coaching hire before. Mainly because I didn't know about even the Adam Gase hire was like, I had a little more faith because it's like, maybe he won't be a complete moron, and maybe he'll suck enough to get them good draft picks. With Nick Sirianni, I don't know about that. Because Nick Sirianni's kinda... I don't know what Nick Sirianni is. But frankly, that's why I don't have... Okay. It's time for Ben Goes on a ramble about why the Eagles are annoying to him. So, you're the Eagles. You feel the need to be stupid. You let Doug Peterson stay around for the 17th game. Fine, I totally understand that. He then pulls your quarterback in the middle of it, the only guy that's making anything work for you, puts in Nate fucking Sudfeld, a guy who clearly wasn't the dude who was winning you the game, which put you in a position to lose the game. He then comes out after the game saying, no, I made the decision to put in the guy, I'm gonna punch you. But I'm sorry. But like He says he did the thing that's going to put him in the best position to win. And if you think that's going to be the best position to win, you need to fire Doug Peterson for gross incompetence. But they don't. They wait an entire goddamn week to fire Doug Peterson. I don't know whose fault that was. Apparently they were letting him have some sort of thing. He'd already ruined the relationship he'd had with your star quarterback, the guy that you'd spent a first-round draft pick, second overall on, in 2016, which was only 5 years prior. You don't know? You remember that part? No? Are you fucking stupid? Okay, fine. So you're a week behind on the coaching hiring, the coaching market. You're a week behind in that. Because that's good. Let's put ourselves in an advantage. And then you don't reach out. You reach out to the guy who constructed your best offense. Fine, I understand that. Because you don't go to Eric Bieniemy. Fine, you want to go to a Frank Reich guy because he was the guy that constructed the offense that won you a Super Bowl. I understand it. I'm an LSU fan. LSU went back to Joe Brady to find the guys to run the offense. I understand that entirely. But then he comes there and he's got a weird-ass press conference, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I don't get him. I don't get Nick Sirianni. I don't get the upper management of this team. I don't get what the hell they're doing. Maybe fix some shit. Yeah, so anyway, off of that point, let's see how things are going in. I'm going to punch something. Are you kidding me? So in LSU baseball really makes me depressed news. Drew Bianco dove full extension for a catch in left center field, but collided with Geaux, who is rolling on the warning track. So we lost a catcher due to injury this year. We lost our, ace pitcher due to injury this year. If we lose Geaux due to injury... I mean, I know we're shit this year, and frankly, we don't deserve to make the tournament, but our RPI is pretty decent. Hey, speaking of our RPI, let's talk about what's happened recently. Fun times at LSU baseball. I want to die. Man. Oh, look. Look who it is. Steeler fan has decided to join the realm of the living. Anyway, let's talk about LSU baseball, because last weekend, they won their series at home against Alabama. The last series at home was the first home series win for LSU against an SEC opponent. Beat them 2 out of 3, won game 1, 2-1, lost game 2, 6-5, and then won game 3, 13-5. And then the midweek came around and we lost it. For the first time all year, LSU lost a midweek game. We lost it 7-3 to Northwestern State. That dropped our RPI 22 from 18 to 22, which, if you don't know what the RPI is, that basically is the important metric that gets you into the tournament as an at-large. So yeah, let's talk about the situation right now with LSU's SEC tournament hopes, because we're not in yet. The SEC tournament has a 12-team limit, and there are 14 teams in the SEC, so 2 of them ain't in. Now, it should be noted, the 2 worst teams in the SEC this weekend are playing each other. Missouri is playing against Auburn. So Auburn might get lucky. We need Auburn not to win. That's mainly because fuck Auburn. So, at current, LSU would be the 10 seed. We're playing against the 12th seeded, and again, this is if current seeds were to hold, Texas A&M. We're 11-16 in the conference, they're 8-19. Now, 8 and 9 are within reach. The 8 and 9 seeds are within reach. We'd have to sweep, which means we'd have to do something tonight, because we're down 1-0. I don't want to die. And it just so happens, Georgia and Alabama, the 8 and the 9, are not with an easy time. Georgia, 12-15 in the conference, plays Ole Miss, who's 16-11, but Ole Miss is also ranked 13th in the country. I shit you not. That's how good this conference is. And then you've got number 8 Alabama. They're playing tied for 4th, because I don't know how to make a tiebreaker. They're Mississippi State, who's like another top... Oh, no, wait, they're not a top 10 team. They're the number 4 team in the country. I kid you not, they're that good. They are 17-10. However, we're on the road, and those two, Georgia and Alabama, are playing at home, which means they get a distinct advantage. So yeah, that's about as well as we can do. Is we would get, if we swept, and then Georgia and Alabama got swept, we'd have the advantage over them, and we'd be the 7th seed. We're not going to be the 7th seed, are we? No. By the way, the SEC tournament is double elimination, and we need to win 2 games. Honestly, if we win 2 games, we're in the NCAA tournament, which is good. What's worse is that Paul Mainieri's 1 win away from 1,500 in his career. Only 7 Division I coaches have ever made it to 1,500 wins. Yeah, that's insane. Uh-huh. The beauties of being a Nebraska baseball fan. Hey, did you check the tweet I sent in the Discord? Okay, let me read it out just real quick, just so that everybody gets to hear it. Just so everybody reads it. At Nebraska came to the Big Ten assuming it was going to win conference and national championships, and now it has to cross an ocean to lose 13-6 to a team quarterbacked by Tranch Mortz, while the opposing coach insists that fiber optic wires carry antibacterial resistant microbes. I just needed to read the glories of that tweet, because if you guys didn't hear, Nebraska is playing Northwestern in 2022 in Dublin. Yeah. I know what the most Irish thing is. Midwestern teams. Whose idea was this? Okay. Fair enough. Question. Why are conference games being played overseas? I understand non-conference games, but for God's sake, whose idea was this? Why do I feel the need to blame Nebraska's AD? This is dumb. I can't. Anyway, we're gonna probably run until 9 o'clock my time this night. Don't worry, it'll be fun. Because it's time to complain about the NBA's new playoff format. Because frankly, I fucking hate it. So, if you didn't hear, there were games last night. Preliminary games for the NBA playoffs. Because that was necessary. Apparently, the NBA wants to eliminate tanking. Which, I don't know how you do that. But they're trying, and I'm okay with that. Like, So here's the new NBA playoff format. In the old playoff format, it was a standard deal that didn't have to be bullshitty. The top 8 teams in every single conference would make the playoffs. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're in the damn playoffs or you're not. But now, it's getting stupid! In the new format, there is no such thing as an automatic 7 and an automatic 8 seed. No, you gotta play for it. So the 7 and the 8 seed play each other. The winner of that game wins the 7th spot and plays the 2 seed in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Then, the 9th and 10th teams in each conference play each other. The loser is eliminated from the playoffs. I assume they get a lottery pick as a result. The winner of that game goes on to play the loser of the 7 versus 8 game. The winner of that game gets the 8th seed and gets to play the number 1 team in their respective conference. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? Yeah, but like, why? Well, I can think of 2 reasons. Number 1, make their less likely to tank. Number 2, what do you think? What do you think it is? Same reason the NFL decided to expand to 7 teams in the playoffs. Money, 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 money. Money. 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 Some people have a bad playoff format, like the NBA. That transition, man, was so good. So yeah, here's what I don't like about it. It's hokey and dumb. And stupid. And weird. Then again, I also like hokey and dumb and stupid and weird. And it's not the worst playoff format I've ever seen. You ever heard of aggregate score for football? Like in soccer, but with football? Because they did it in the Arena Football League and the Canadian Football League in the 1950s. I've actually got a video in the works on this crap. Trust me, it's one of like 2 videos I have in the works. It's actually one of 3. It's funny how I say I have a lot of videos in the works and then I never do them. Imagine having priorities. Man. I would work on it tomorrow, but guess who's going to a softball game because LSU's hosting a regional? It's awesome that you're, it's cool when your school gets to host a regional. Imagine that define in the works. I have an idea. I have the video that I'm going to edit for it. And I have the notes down that I needed to take for it. Also, it's a part of a larger story. That's in the works. Anyway, let me just get this quick controversial thing out of the way. And by controversial, I mean it's not really. So the NCAA softball regionals are being held this weekend. And 3 of the states in which they're being held are Arkansas, Alabama, and Tennessee. 3 states the NCAA said they weren't going to host championship events. After those states passed bills that were so restrictive on human rights, well, they were about what you'd expect from the South, let's be honest. Specifically the rights of transgender people, and specifically transgender children and athletics. And it's all messed up. And they said they weren't going to host events there, and then they just went back on that because the NCAA and hypocrisy are one and the same. So, that's been fun. But yeah, going to a game tomorrow between ULL, University of Louisiana at Lafayette, versus George Washington. Because the LSU game is at an inconvenient time for the friend I'm going to go to the game with. Name a better combo. I know. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. You'll just have to see it for yourselves, guys. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna break the world, guys. You just don't know what's gonna come. Can't wait to see 5-12. Hey, 5-12 with Jamar Chase going ham all over the place. That's fine. Maybe they'll be bad, just bad enough to get Derek Stingley in the draft. Cause I want the reuniting. I want their I want their 3 first-round picks to be guys on that 2019 LSU team, and then it'll be good.
And then they'll go 6-11 in 2022.
I hate you. Hello!
How's it hanging?
How am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing well, and you've made it just in time because we're going to talk about Major League Baseball right now.
Woo!
Yes, starting with the hitting issues. When I made this document, it was yesterday, and I said there'd probably be a no-hitter during the podcast. I was wrong. It was the night before. Because
Yep.
Tuesday night, Spencer Turnbull threw the third no-hitter this month. It was the sixth no-hitter of the year. I'm including Matt Bum's in 7 because that's a no-hitter. It's not a complete 9-inning no-hitter, but it's a no-hitter. It was the second this month against the Mariners. It dropped their team batting average to a .199. Guess what? It only gets worse, because now they're at a 198 after last night's game. You'd think that's bad, but it could be worse. You could be slugging worse than the Mariners, which 4 teams are. The Tigers, Brewers, Mets, and Pirates are somehow slugging worse than the Mariners, who have a .198 batting average.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Mets and the Pirates and really. So I don't know what the league-wide batting average is now, but as of Tuesday night, it was .238. That was the league-wide batting average. Then, last night, Corey Kluber threw a no-hitter against the Rangers. There have been 6 9-inning no-hitters against 3 different teams. The Indians, the Mariners, and the Rangers have been no-hit twice. And the Braves were the team that Matt Baum no-hit, so that's weird. So
Gotta love yourself some patterns.
Man, it's almost as if they stopped juicing the ball, and then they just don't care about guys. Oh, by the way, that was the first no-hitter that Angel Hernandez has ever had the luxury of calling.
Ah. Oh no.
It's like,
Makes
which
me
brings the legitimacy of the whole game into question. But yeah. Now, you want to know someone who didn't have a tough time hitting? Well, his name is Yermin Mercedes. On Monday, White Sox designated hitter Yermin Mercedes hit a solo home run on a 3-0 pitch in the top of the 9th when the team led 15-4. It was a meatball thrown 48 miles per hour by a position player. Now, that wouldn't be a problem unless you're the Twins broadcast team who got extra salty. But one man did not like it. His name is Tony La Russa, and he's a man famous for making great judgments. You know, he's never been arrested for drunk driving twice. Especially after saying he would never do it again. And he said, he made a mistake. There will be a consequence he has to endure here within our family. Oh yeah, did I mention that he's the manager of the White Sox? And that he's calling out his own player for hitting a home run? And not just his player, his designated hitter. You know, the guy you designate to hit the baseball. And you're mad he hit the base... The fuck? Okay.
This is just, as a Padres fan, I've never heard this before. I never in my life have I heard this story before. I'll tell you what, this is new to me. Oh man, I can't believe we're going through this show and this whole song and dance again of managers calling out their players for doing what they're supposed to do. I get it. He was given the take sign. I do not care. He is designated to hit. If he hits, then he's done his job. Jesus Christ. Why are managers getting upset that players are, playing for better contracts?
Yeah, well, it only got worse from there because then in the 7th inning of the team's game on Tuesday night, which was a 5-4 Twins victory in which one of the Twins players had 3 home runs, which is actually insane, Twins reliever and noted dumbass now, Tyler Duffy threw behind Mercedes. He was then ejected, and then after a bunch of argument, Rocco Baldelli, which is a great name, by the way, the Twins manager, was also ejected. That is an
absolutely amazing name.
Great name. Now, when asked about Duffy's pitch, La Russa said he didn't have a problem with the way the Twins handled it. So I'm sorry, you're okay with your own player getting injured? Are you fucking kidding me? It should be noted that the White Sox somehow have the best record in their league. In the AL. Like, what the fuck? Okay, so you won't defend your player because he broke an unwritten rule. So you know how I would handle this? You know how I would handle this? If I'm asked, what did you think about the guy swinging on him? I'd have said, look, we told him to take the pitch, right? And he didn't. So we'll talk about listening to that. But also, he's a designated hitter. Why are you angry that he hit? Why are people angry that he hit the baseball? That's his job, right? That's why I sent him to the plate. And he did his job, and he didn't just do his job. He hit a 400-foot home run on a 48-mile-an-hour fastball. You know how hard that is to do? That's impressive. Like, it's hard to hit a 400-footer on a 60-mile-an-hour fastball, much less 48. That requires a ton of power. The dude did a damn good job out there, and I'm going to stick up for him. And you know what? If they try any crap tomorrow, I'm going to stick up for him again. Because he's my player, and this is our family, and that's what we come here to do. But no, Tony La Russa can't do that. Because he feels like this unwritten code matters more than his own goddamn player. Which is bullshit. Wonder why people don't like baseball? Is because you don't want them to play it. If you don't like baseball players playing baseball, what do you like then, you pieces of shit?
It's just an absolutely sad situation all around. And I think alone it's bad enough, but in the context of this is the second time in 2 years that we're going through this is just really telling about where the sport of baseball is as a whole, or at least the MLB, because there is absolutely no reason that this conversation should be had. There's no reason for it.
It's only with these older people. Nobody
cares. No. Jace Tingler was the manager who did it to us last year. He's like 37 or something. He is by no means old.
I guess it's just an older mentality that seeps its way into the sport that needs to get thrown out fast.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's killing baseball because, you know what? It's a game, where people have fun. And why can't people have fun? It is not a business dinner. It's a fucking game.
Nah, I'm gonna just ruin it for everyone.
And it's like, hey, you know what? Hey, maybe if you didn't want this to happen, you could have, not put a position player on the mound. Or not given up 15 more runs. Because you figured out a way to not do that the next game.
Could not be the Twins, how about it?
That's true. They do have that curse of being the Twins. And now it's time...
when it happens to me.
Now it's time to learn something. Now you notice that in the title of this, I mentioned Detroit Merciless. Do you know what I mean by that?
Are we going to be mercilessly shitting on Detroit?
No, we're going to be talking about how Detroit Mercy's head coach was being merciless to her team. So, Detroit Mercy's women's basketball team will not return any players from their most recent season. Maxine Moore, who wanted to return, was told she could either stay in school or leave, but she couldn't play. So, why? Why is this happening? Well, we have to go back to Anne-Marie Gilbert. She's the head coach, and she's still the damn head coach despite allegations of player abuse and NCAA violations from a letter dated January 17th, 2021. The letter is signed by players and their parents, and anything... There's going to be a lot of quoting from this letter, because frankly, I could not do it better than whoever wrote it. Seriously, hat tip to whoever wrote this thing. By the way, that the administration met with players and they canceled the rest of the season on January 20th following, well, this. So, let's start with mandates and prerequisites for playing time. So, and by the way, I'll tell you how dumb this is in a second. So, you had to be able to run a mile in 7 minutes. You had to run for 1.5 miles. You had to do that in 11 minutes if you were a post player, or 10.5 minutes if you were a guard. For 2 miles, 16 minutes for posts, 15 minutes for guards. Quote, Coach Gilbert stated on several occasions that if those times were not made, players could not start, and even went as far as to say, that players would not play at all. Now, you want to know something crazy? Your silence is really bad. Oh, you'll be AFK for a minute, no worries. Yes, you might want to hear this, so here's what I asked my roommate who happens to run track, and by the way, I'll talk about that thing at the end. And yeah, he thought that was unreasonable. He thought that was unreasonable to be running 2 miles in 16 minutes. He wouldn't be doing that. Now, granted, he's a sprinter, but still, they would also be sprinting too, because, it's a basketball court, not a damn football field. Or not a damn Australian rules football pitch, or I don't know, who the hell needs to run 2 miles in 16 minutes? The hell is this bullshit? And you couldn't play at all, if you couldn't. So, okay, that's one thing. And it's not like, and again, we're talking about Detroit Mercy, this isn't high stakes, so it's not like she could also prioritize basketball over academics. Oh, she does? Let's talk more about that. Quote, she has been persistent with trying to get players to change their schedules and or majors so that academic commitments do not interfere with practice. Several players have been asked to drop classes needed to graduate in order to comply with practice. Note, she was only hired as the head coach this past year, so this is very new. An example, so UDM bio majors must take labs to graduate. The school schedules labs from 2 to 5 p.m. once a week, but practice is from 12 to 3. Quote, Coach Gilbert instills fear and guilt in players for wanting to take these classes and accuses them of, and I'm subquoting here, not being committed to the success of the program. Unquote. That was weird. Just don't question it. She belittled...
The triple quote.
Yeah, well, yeah. She belittled players with good grades. It just...
Don't you just hate it when you want to go to a lab to keep your grade up? And not only does she shit on the fact that you want to go to the lab, but also that you have good grades that you want to, keep up there. Man, don't you just hate it?
Well, here's another quote. Players are directed to do extra workouts as a sign of commitment, and when players try to decline the extra workouts with coaches/trainers due to schoolwork or even due to eating before and after practice, wanting to eat, that thing you gotta do to survive, several remarks were made that insisted that basketball should not come before education. Please stop writing in the passive voice, it's giving her way too much of a leniency. Those players were also accused of, quote, not being committed, not wanting to be good players, and not caring about the program. Triple unquote. Now, time for some NCAA violations, the good old-fashioned ones. Hey, remember those Ncaa violations?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's some Ncaa violations. There have been several instances where either practice begins anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes early and ends 10 to 15 minutes late. Start times are 11:40 and finish at 3:15. Practice is scheduled from 12 to 3 p.m. Moreover, the coach will talk anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes after practice ends. Note, as recently as this week, the guards were instructed to be in the gym 45 minutes prior to the start of practice. Finally, no one knows who signs the Ncaa logs. Also, student athletes who did not play substantial minutes in the games have been assigned to additional conditioning workouts that sometimes take place on off days or during the week after the 4-hour daily limit has been surpassed. If not attended, players were put down and humiliated in front of the entire team. In addition, Coach Gilbert held film sessions after away games at both University of Illinois Chicago, UIC, and University of Wisconsin Green Bay, or just Green Bay to us normal people. Again, another activity that grossly exceeds countable athletically related activities. I've again talked with my roommate, and they are really up on their compliance shit. That stuff is bare bones what your compliance officer is going to get on your ass about. But you know what? No one usually has to deal with this because no one's stupid enough to do that. Because they're usually they're in tip-top, like, if you're a well-run program, most schools don't have to worry about CAR. It's the simplest thing to deal with, in fact. The NCAA provides countless guides as to help them out because they don't want someone getting bopped for something they didn't know about. So they provide countless resources. This is how I figured it out, in fact, because I found a page that they had sent out to Division II programs about how it worked. Rutgers had it on their website. I also found it there. It's like they're trying to make sure you know, hey, here are the things you can and cannot do. You decided to violate those. She was also not organized or efficient with practices. But if we're going to talk about Merciless, we have to read directly from the letter. For the rest of this, I'm basically quoting. So, feel free to interrupt. If I take a major pause, feel free to just interject with a little thing so that you can say something, because that's going to get bad. So, perhaps most disturbing of all, Coach Gilbert has created a toxic environment in which players are afraid to honestly communicate their injuries and illnesses to the athletic trainer. So, here we go. Players Ollie Reef, I'm going to mispronounce some of these, aren't I? Kayla Webb, Markaya, oh my gosh, Markyaa, McCormick, Solaire Starks, Maxine Moore, aka the person I mentioned at the beginning, and Jaira Shears, just to name a few, have all had significant concerns regarding injuries and ailments that include, but are not limited to, concussions, plantar fasciitis, bone bruises, fractures, migraines, and even COVID-19 symptoms. Now, one of those athletes who reported these injuries and symptoms were handled with care or concern. In fact, they were coerced and guilted into competing. They were told that, quote, if your bone isn't sticking out, you need to be giving something. Yeah. Whoo! If the player persisted that she could not compete, Coach Gilbert bullied and persecuted that player for sitting out of practices and games. She has even instructed players to disregard or not to report COVID-19 symptoms in the middle of a pandemic on game days. Insert Dabo Swinney joke.
Wow. I feel like that's just incredibly stupid, not just on the fact that you were also going to get bopped for CAR violations, but the fact that if you have, 5 sick players on the court at any given time, chances are, and hear me out here, your 5 star players all being sick with COVID, playing, that I feel like you're going to play worse than if you just have 5 scrubs who feel at their absolute best on the court at any given time. Just hear me out here. That is absolutely where I am with this. Granted, all of them could be Michael Jordan and, play amazing with the flu. Here's the problem, though. None of them are Michael Jordan.
And that was food poisoning and not a pandemic that's killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, that was food poisoning and not COVID. That makes you feel like death.
Yeah. And can even give you death. But let's continue.
Yes.
Let's continue. If the player did not comply, she told them she was disappointed in the student athlete for reporting the symptoms. Players have been shamed for acquiring injuries in practices and games by telling them to, quote, get up and get over it. It's a contact sport, and stop limping. That's a loser's mentality, unquote. Players have also reported that the assistant coaches
my God.
have also been humiliated and harassed in front of players and on the sidelines, most especially Coach Tim Webb, who is the only male on the staff. Okay. In addition, players have requested to see doctors and have been dissuaded by both Coach Gilbert and the athletic trainers, asking, "Why do you need to see a doctor? Why would you think someone would need to see a doctor?" I wonder.
I'm just speechless, my man.
It only gets
my
worse from
God.
here, mate. Okay. Players have been warned against going to administration for any matter. There was an incident involving a player simply having a conversation with the athletic director, inadvertently sharing a concern about access to equipment, and she was relentlessly reprimanded in a 45-minute closed-door session regarding hierarchy. By the way, I hadn't read this part. I just copied and pasted it. And how leaders do not go above the heads of coaches to report anything to administration. Later in the day, after a 3-hour practice, Coach Gilbert held a meeting for over an hour discussing the incident, and emphasized that she did not want them speaking to the athletic director for any reason, and that any and all issues are to be directed to her only. Additionally, it has come to the point now where the players collectively feel anxiety when playing in practice or in games, so much so that they express that they do not even want to play for fear of making a mistake. It should be noted that players try to avoid directly interacting with Coach Gilbert for any reason out of genuine fear and anxiety. Several players report they are losing their love for the game. The environment has become so toxic and draining that players have made comments in the locker room about having suicidal thoughts, as well as purposely injuring themselves, so they would not have to face Coach Gilbert's belittling and emotional abuse. Some players report that they have never had a battle with mental health until this season. And the Cincinnati shit wasn't this bad. And now I genuinely have to ask myself the question. Is this worse than a coach choking out a player?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'll say this. It's different.
Yes. I don't think you can say that it is worse, though. I mean, I think you can say that it is worse. Shit. But I know what you mean by that. I don't think. Yeah. No, this is absolutely worse. Really, you don't think it is?
No, I'm saying that's what you're saying. I think it's.
I
think it is. I think it's worse. But of course, there are other concerns.
Oh yeah, so do I. I think this is worse than the Cincinnati stuff. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. I mean, there are other concerns from players, by the way. Coach Gilbert has made several comments in practices and in the heat of close games that the players are replaceable and that they can and will be replaced. None of them are coming back, so you weren't wrong about that. Several players have witnessed Coach Gilbert. Yeah, several players have witnessed Coach Gilbert interact unprofessionally with assistant coaches, insulting them and threatening to fire them. Oh, just keep going. Coach Gilbert gossips and makes unkind comments about players during practice while on the sidelines, sometimes with her daughter, who is a high school senior and not a member of the team, as well as in one-on-one meetings with different players. She's gossiping with her high school senior daughter. Oh my God, this sounds like a crappy movie. My God, there were wrestling heels that were more believable than this. God, this is terrible. Oh, it's not done? Coach Gilbert has made distasteful comments to the team, such as, and these are all quotes, "I'm disgusted with y'all. Y'all don't deserve to win. You're cowards. Cowards limp, losers limp, to injure players." All of those are quotes. The players have heard Coach Gilbert give up on them in the middle of games. Example, during the second quarter of the game, second quarter by the way, she made a disheartening comment about how she was done and that she should just keep her mask on and stay seated for the remainder of the game. It keeps going. Assistant coach Tim Webb and graduate assistant coach Tori Moreland have been the only people in which the players feel they can confide. The rest of this letter is pretty disheartening. Sadly, research shows that our complaint of the abuse and trauma perpetuated on our daughters is not the first time Coach Anne-Marie Gilbert has been held accountable for such behavior. Her tenure at Eastern Michigan University came to an ungracious end when nearly identical complaints were made by her players and staff. I'll go into the context behind that in a minute. This letter is but a snapshot of the horrendous environment that our daughters have to endure every day. We come to you with our urgent request and implore you to take action to investigate immediately before something tragic happens. We request that an investigation be initiated immediately and Coach Anne-Marie Gilbert be put on administrative leave pending the outcome of the internal investigation. We are not seeking any legal remedies at this time, but reserve the right to further pursue any remedy we have. We truly appreciate you taking the time to read our complaint and look forward to a swift response to our daughter's pleas for help. And again, there was a swift response. They canceled the rest of the season 3 days later. Now, what about that Eastern Michigan shit? Oh, you want to know about that? Okay. So, she was the head coach at Eastern Michigan for 5 years before she resigned in 2012. She led the team to a couple tournament berths, and she was rather successful. Well, okay, she was successful except for that whole part in which the school placed themselves under probation for 2 years for self-reported violations tied to practice and recruiting in the 2009-10 season. Yes, it's tied to Gilbert. Oh, also, and this might be important, and you might want to just brace yourself for this. EMU suspended her without pay for a month and suspended her entire salary, froze her salary for the 2010-11 season after a 2-month investigation by the EMU Compliance Office. She also received a letter of reprimand and underwent mandatory counseling during said month of suspension. Also, after she resigned, she received a 2-year show cause banishment, which is the most severe punishment possible to give to a coach. What it means is that she has to meet with the NCAA every 6 months in order to show that she's in compliance. And if she's hired by another school, that school has to meet with them too. It doesn't prevent her from getting hired. But again, there were tons, and I mean tons, of accusations of abuse during her time at Eastern Michigan. On April 15th, UDM affirmed its commitment to Gilbert, despite literally everything you just heard. They expect to announce their new roster in the coming weeks. The only 2 players that are even at the university. Moore, the one I talked about earlier. She has to make a decision. She's nearly finished her communications degree. She either has to stay at Detroit Mercy and give up the sport she loves, or she has to transfer and uproot her life, basically. The other player is a Valparaiso transfer who is apparently not expected to make the team either. She recently got a transfer from Louisiana Tech, which, oh my god, why are you going up there of all things? I feel for you. I know Ruston's a bad place because it exists. I don't feel bad to the people of Ruston. I'm sorry, you guys are just not that good. Not you people, but your city. It's just meh.
This place is terrible, I know, because it exists. Oh man, what a statement.
I've never been to Ruston. I don't apologize for being a dick about it, because it's just a friendly rivalry thing, because I'm in Baton Rouge, and I'm LSU, and you guys are another university that isn't us, and plays us. But we beat you twice!
It's good to know that LSU is intimidated by a CUSA school.
Hey, they're gonna host a regional, and we aren't. I'm not even shitting with you. Ruston gets to host a regional and we don't. Oh, wait, we get to host a regional in softball. And I get to go to a game tomorrow. Yay! That's cool. You know, the last time I actually went to a proper sporting event with a proper crowd was at that softball stadium. It's gonna be crazy. Man. But yeah, so that was the whole Detroit Mercy situation. That was a complete load of shit, wasn't it? That was a...
Man, I can't even say I'm surprised after hearing that Cincinnati shit. That's... Mm-hmm. Man, I hate to hear it every time it happens. That's absolutely fucking pathetic.
Worst thing is, I found this thing literally a week later and I couldn't talk about it, because, I found this thing Friday of, the past Friday, and it was, crap. I found it right after recording my pre-recorded podcast, too.
Nice.
Yeah. It's 8 o'clock, and I'm probably going to go for a little bit, so we can do a normal-ass AMA, or we can talk random stuff. Or we can talk...
I feel like there was a signing. But, I mean, Tim Tebow, and I can't think of anything else, really.
Trying to remember what they were talking about.
Okay. How about this? Albert Pujols to the Dodgers. Thoughts?
Cool, man. At least you found a team that's willing to keep...
that's right. I forgot you don't watch MLB. Okay.
I don't watch baseball, but you do. You do. So...
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've not seen much of Pujols play either. Oh, man. I'm going to say this. I am slightly worried.
Why?
It's that part of me. It's like Machado getting signed by the Dodgers. Sure, granted, Machado's a lot younger. Machado was a lot younger than Pujols was when he signed with the Dodgers. With that being said, Pujols is also a very good player. Again, I need to see his stats for this year compared to his last couple of seasons. With that being said, having a guy like Pujols come onto the team, I'm really worried this is going to be like a braided Tampa Bay situation. I do not want to see LA win another championship. God damn it, do I not want to see... granted, I am biased. Of course I am.
You are
With
very
that
biased.
being said, I do not in the slightest want to see LA win another championship.
Specifically the Dodgers.
Specifically the Dodgers. Honestly, I don't mind the Angels. I like the Angels.
Exactly.
I wish they would change their name to
the
Anaheim.
second team in any city deserves it.
No. Nope, not true.
Well,
absolutely not true. Neither of those teams in LA fucking deserve it. Fuck you, Spanos, and fuck you, Kroenke, too.
They aren't... Well, that's true.
They're both the first team in there, and that neither of them deserve it, but they're the second team, and that they both have to kiss up to the USC Trojans.
No, that's true, because UCLA is shit. I have to really just keep my UCLA slander for the week of the LSU game, because we need to beat the crap out of them, and I need to be there for that game so I can witness them beat the crap out of them, and just... man. I want to go to the Rose Bowl to see LSU beat UCLA 53-2 or some shit. I just want to see them murder.
How about 47-2 per chance?
Wasn't it 43-2?
No.
Damn. That's unfortunate. I just want to see them
New
beat
Mexico
the crap.
State
I just
beat,
want to see
New
them.
Mexico
I just want to see a massacre on the field. I want to see LSU come out there, guns a-blazing, and beat the shit out of them. All right? It's just all I want to see. Because after last year, I'm a little pissed off. Alrighty? We got a new defensive coordinator. Let me rephrase that. We have a defensive coordinator. Because we had Bo Pelini and he was... Let's not talk about that. 600 fucking yards to Mississippi State? Are you fucking kidding me? I know it was week 1, but like, come on. And he was a transfer from Stanford. He's the reason Davis Mills got the start.
Oh, Davis Mills. Oh, good old Davis Mills.
The wonder of Davis Mills. Did you see that the Texans signed another quarterback? Jeff Driscoll.
Hell yeah, baby.
Woohoo!
Detroit Lions legend.
Hey, speaking of Rustin. He went to Louisiana Tech.
I see.
Yes, it makes
Wasn't he
sense.
drafted in like 2013 or something?
I don't know. He was decent at La Tech. Yeah. Oh, you know what we should do for the lovely people? We should do this because I mentioned... before I even get into this, I gotta make a little bit of an announcement to the people that are here, or person that is here. On Saturday, I'm going to be putting up an interview that I did yesterday with my roommate. He happens to be a track athlete. I mentioned that literally earlier if you were paying attention. Hooray! Paying attention is cool. So that'll be cool. It's about 30 minutes long. You'll be able to find it on Anchor FM or wherever you find your podcasts. Spotify, it'll be on there. It'll be on Google Podcasts. It'll be on Apple Podcasts. It's on a lot of podcasting platforms. It's actually pretty cool. Y'all should listen to it and boost it and share it because, like, that would be nice. Come on, spread the love. But yeah, it's time for a little bit of a down the rabbit hole treasure. And what is down the rabbit hole? Well, you see, I went down a rabbit hole. Thank you. Actually. You're the reason I went down this rabbit hole after making this point last night that Shipwreck Kelly was the,
yes.
Did you read what I found?
Kelly. I love the fact that there were not only one, but two famous people under the name of Shipwreck Kelly.
So
that is stellar.
So, yes. So let me explain. Shipwreck Kelly was real name John Sims Kelly. Now, he was not the first Shipwreck Kelly, and in fact, he got his nickname from the original Shipwreck Kelly. Who was the original Shipwreck Kelly? Well, that would be Alvin Shipwreck Kelly, born Aloysius Anthony Kelly. I don't know how he got Alvin, because his name was Aloysius. But who gives a damn? Now, who was Shipwreck Kelly, or Alvin Shipwreck Kelly? He was a pole sitter. He wasn't just a pole sitter, he was considered the pole sitter, the man who performed, or who popularized the entire idea. See, in 1924, outside a Philadelphia department store, he decided to sit on a pole. It was either out of a dare from a friend, or it was a publicity stunt. But anyway, yeah. In 1924, in January, he sat on a pole for 13 hours, 13 minutes to publicize a movie. But he became very good at it, and by very good at it, I mean insanely good at it. In 1926, he set a record by sitting atop a flagpole in St. Louis for 7 days and an hour. In June 1927, he planned to beat that record. He wanted to sit for 8 days atop a pole in Newark. He didn't. He sat atop it for 12 days. Then, in Baltimore, he sat atop a pole for 23 days. And in 1930, he sat atop a pole on the Steel Pier in Atlantic City for 49 days and 1 hour. This was a 225-foot tall high. A 225-foot tall flagpole. That's insane. Yeah. But that's not the man we're talking about, is it? We're talking about the other Shipwreck Kelly.
What the fuck did people do in the 30s? Well, okay, I guess I shouldn't say the 30s.
Lose money. They lost a lot of money in the 1930s and drank illegally.
What the hell did people do in the 20s? That is just absolutely...
Drink legally.
Yeah.
No, drink it. When was Prohibition? 1919? No. Yes, it was. Yes, it was before the... because the 19th Amendment was the amendment that gave women the right to vote. So the 18th Amendment would have been passed before 1919. So bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Drank illegally. That's what a lot of people did. They also went to baseball games and occasionally went to football games. And if they went to football games in Kentucky, they might have seen John Shipwreck Kelly. He was playing at the University of Kentucky. Well, his first year, he rode the bench on the freshman team. But he knew he could play, and he knew he could run like hell. So then, he got a chance. In the final game of the year, he scored 3 touchdowns. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, in 1929, his team lost a single game, and it was to Wallace Wade's Alabama, because Alabama likes to destroy a lot of things that are doing well in the world. In 1931, the dude was a monster. He ran for 1,074 yards, which doesn't sound like much until you realize it's 6.3 yards per carry. What? Yeah. He was the fastest man in the South, or at least he was dubbed the fastest man in the South. He ran a 100-yard dash in 9.8 seconds. Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's slow by today's standards. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was the 1920s, so that was very fast back then. Plus, they didn't run on really good tracks, and they didn't have running shoes. So, I mean, when you think about it that way, It's actually pretty impressive. But then he went to the NFL, and in the ripe old age of 23, he became a player coach. Then he became a player coach owner. Player/coach/owner, which, doesn't happen. He became a player/coach/owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers. No, not the one you're thinking of. The other one. The one from the movie Captain America.
Oh, yeah, the baseball team.
Yes, the one from the movie Captain America. The first Avenger. There's a poster of a game between the Brooklyn Dodgers, and anyway, that doesn't matter. So yeah. And he bought it with a partner. That man's name was Dan Topping. Dan Topping would eventually become the president of the New York Yankees and lead the Yankees to 9 World Series under his tenure, plus an extra 10th when he wasn't president but was co-owner of the team. Yeah, he was... So that's the thing. He ran the team's punchback, and in 1933, he led the NFL. And how many receptions did he have to lead the NFL?
34, I think.
Oh my god, you couldn't even...
Let me check. I forgot, dude.
I have it right here. It's 22.
Oh, that's right, 22. Shut the fuck up.
Why should I?
Oh.
You're the...
Alongside other legends in the NFL, such as Red Badgrow and Todd Goodwin with 1D.
You do realize that Red Badgrow or Badgerow is in the Hall of Fame.
With other legends such as Todd Goodwin with 1D and Joe Carter.
I would hope Todd Goodwin only had 1D.
I swear to God, I will shoot you.
Did you not read the pun session me and Steeler fan had on this?
I did not. I was at work, my guy.
I know. I meant once you got off of work.
No, because as soon as I got off of work, I drove home, took a shower, and then got on here.
Oh, fair enough. Well, you'll have to read that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really, really bad when we got a lot of bad, we literally got into a pun-off when it came to, rappers. You heard about the Baroque composer turned rapper? No. Yeah, his name is Tebow. I responded with shoot.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah. Notorious, one might say. Don't dog on it. Oh, that pun was also very innate. A response. We should take these puns and put them in an exhibit. Will it warrant someone to regulate? Nah, it should be able to run DMC itself. And then I made a really bad one that doesn't matter. And then I was like, they can tell everyone to walk this way.
Yeah, I'm curious just to find out the one that you decided to omit from that.
It's good, but we need something else. How about a chess tournament? Winner takes on Grandmaster Flash.
That is absolutely horrific. I hate this.
Sounds like anyway, everyone to walk this way. Sounds like a cool, Mo-D, way to spend the afternoon. Relaxing with some iced tea, with plenty of ice cubes, I hope. Sounds like a good day. Taking the afternoon real easy-y. And then finally, laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
I just learned that UTEP's old name was Texas State M&M, and I just love that name.
What is the M and M? Mechanical and mining?
Close. Mines and metallurgy.
Huh. I should have known that.
It was the 40s. The last year before they changed their name to Texas Western University, they beat New Mexico A&M, which later became New Mexico State. A total of 92-7.
92-7?
92-7.
I have to actually check something real quick.
I mean, again, it was 1948, so of course they were going to be bad at football, but...
Well, it's New Mexico State. They've never
that
exactly been historically good at football.
True.
Yeah.
And then they lost 47-2 to Utah State to end
Yeah.
Al Mom's
State
New
School of
Mexico
Mines and
State
Metallurgy.
Aggies.
Oh my god, this is actually insane. Yeah. TCM was one of their things. This is insane. Did you know they were the only Texas team to ever win the NCAA tournament until Baylor came around?
You're shitting me.
Yeah. There had never been a
Oh
team
my
to win.
god, they did.
Yeah. Did you... Wait, you didn't know UTEP had won the NCAA tournament?
I had not.
Oh!
Texas Western Miners. Wow.
Yeah, the first all-black starting five in an NCAA Final Four against Kansas, which had an all-white starting five. It wasn't the first team to field a black player in the final. That was Loyola of Chicago, who has won a championship, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, UTEP won it. Also, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. In a period when on October 29th, 1916, a devastating fire destroyed the main building of the school, prompting its relocation. In 1917, the new school facility was constructed on its present site above Mundy Heights at the Paso del Norte, with the land donated by several El Paso residents. In a period when United States architects were designing in styles adopted especially from Europe, Kathleen Worrell, wife of the university's dean, was attracted by photographs of the Kingdom of Bhutan in a 1914 issue of National Geographic magazine, which showed the Zhong style of its Buddhist monasteries. The resemblances between the local terrain and mountainous features of Bhutan inspired her to propose designing early buildings of the mining school in the Zhong style, or, I don't know, it's DZONG. I'm going to say it's Zhong because that makes sense to me. Liking its distinctiveness, administrations have continued to choose that style for additional facilities, including the Sun Bowl football stadium and parking garages. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
You learn something new every day?
You learn a lot new when you're talking to me.
It's true.
Especially when we go...
I also just learned that there is another iteration of the University of Texas. This one is the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Of course, I mean, I'm sure you
do you
knew
not
about
know
this
how many
considering the
UTs
fact
there
that
are? There's UTSA.
Yes, UTSA, UTEP, UT Austin, fucking, does Texas A&M count?
No, that's a separate.
in the UT system?
That's the Texas
They
A&M
aren't?
University system.
Oh. How many Texas university systems do you think there are?
There's like, I think there's either 4 or 5.
Jesus. Okay, there's a UT Dallas, a UT Arlington, fair.
Hold on, I'm looking to see how many Texas
UT
universities.
Galveston.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's actually 6 Texas State University systems. The University of Houston system, University of North Texas system, the University of Texas system, the Texas A&M system, the Texas State system, and the Texas Tech system.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Where does Baylor line up with all that? Oh, wait,
Baylor's
is Baylor
a private school.
Private?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Baylor's a private
Yep.
school.
But what surprised me about this is that they have a larger enrollment than University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I have never even heard of this school.
What school?
And their acronym
UTRGV?
is UTRGV.
Used to be University of Texas Pan American, but then there was a weird merger.
Yep. UT Tyler. I love that name.
Yeah,
Permian Basin.
Oh,
in
yes,
Tyler,
University
Texas,
of Texas at the Permian Basin, UTPB.
I'm sorry. I just learned that 6 different schools in the UT system all have larger enrollments than University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and that... man,
There's a lot of people in Texas, you know.
No. I refuse.
Hold on, what's Nebraska's population?
So then they lost to it's like
So hold on a minute.
1.6
So
million.
you do realize Nebraska's population isn't even 2 million, and Texas has 12 times that.
Like 10 million. 12 times 2 million, or 12 times Nebraska's population? Because Nebraska's only like 1.6, right?
It's 1.9 as of 2019, and as of 2019, Texas had 29 million. So I was wrong too. And we're going off on a random tangent, so I'm going to end the stream, and then we'll just keep talking afterward. But I thank y'all for listening.
No. There is not. We cannot finish on this note. We need to finish on. We need to finish on a good note. We need to finish on Hal Mummy's New Mexico State Aggies football career.
No, what we need to do is we need to talk about the fact that I recommend you read a book called The Perfect Pass, which is about Hal Mummy himself.
Continue.
Well, basically, it's about his development of the air raid because he figured it out, and then he got hired at Iowa Wesleyan, which is, of course, the biggest. No, you've never heard of it. It's yeah. I'm not even gonna pretend. And he turned them around into an actual contender, and he made the playoffs with them. And yeah, it just tells how he didn't like defense, it makes a lot of sense. By the way, Mike Leach, do you know what Mike Leach was?
Oh my goodness, he was his offensive coordinator. God.
Yes. Do you know how he got the job as the offensive coordinator? Do you know what Mike Leach? Do you know where Mike Leach? Do you know what his degree is in?
Well, now you've got me wondering, and I'm actually going to look this up.
Don't look it up. No, take one guess first.
Fair enough. What's it? It's not law. Is it gonna be like archaeology or something?
Mate, it's law.
You're shitting me. Wow.
I think it's law. I'm 99.9% sure it's law.
He earned a Juris Doctor from Pepperdine University School of Law. Oh my god.
Yeah. By the way, he never played football.
You're telling me that this that this hunk of beefcake never played football? I refuse.
He also served as head coach of the Pori Bears of the American Football Association of Finland. It should be noted that when he did that before getting the so he was an assistant offensive line coach. Then he got a job for $5,000 period. Not $5,000 like a month, but $5,000 to coach offensive line at Cal Poly. And all. And then he heard about Hal Mummy because you see, Iowa Wesleyan was known for being dog shit. And I mean absolute dog shit. Teams were always reaching out to schedule them for homecoming game. That's how dog shit they were. And by the way, they were an independent. I'm not even kidding you. They were an independent in football back when that was a thing. Yeah, they were terrible. But Hal Mummy just reached out to basically everyone so he could find coaches. Because nobody liked the system. Because it was stupid to everyone. It was like throwing the football. Who would ever do that? As much as he wanted to, by the way. Because he wanted to throw the ball a lot. Do you know where the name Air Raid comes from, though? This is where I want to end this.
I do not.
It comes from the fact that while he was the head coach at Valdosta...
Wait. I just thought of something. Were they testing the systems for in case the U.S. ever got bombed, perchance?
No, this was in the 1990s when this happened. Well, you see...
Yeah, but, I mean, that was when, the wall dropped. I feel like we were still close enough within,
Dude,
being afraid of nukes
it was after the USSR collapsed.
Yeah, but, that's true.
Idiot. Anyway,
I will fucking shoot you. Continue.
Anyway, so where do you think the air raid came from? The name itself. What helped solidify that name?
Now I have no clue.
Take a guess as to what might make something... It's like, you throw the ball a lot, but why is it...
Did Mike Leach crash a plane somewhere in Valdosta, Georgia? I don't know. What the fuck?
It sounds like a Mike Leach thing to do. It sounds like a Mike Leach thing.
Of course it does, because it's Mike Leach.
It's like,
It's Mike Leach. He's capable of anything, my guy.
it's Mike Leach. What could he do? Anyway, it's because when they were at Valdosta State,
Tell you what he can do. He can beat defending national champions LSU 44-34 in the season opener.
and then not score a total of 44 points until 6 games later, which is not embarrassing at all. Anyway, they called it the air raid because there at Valdosta State, someone had an air raid siren, and every single time they scored a touchdown or made a big play, they'd do the air raid siren, and they'd have that in the stadium. Their conference, the Southern Athletic Conference, I think, Valdosta State's still in the damn conference. Gulf South Conference told them they weren't allowed to have that at their stadium. So they moved it to a fraternity house, which just so happened to be right by the stadium, but was not on the stadium property, meaning that the Gulf South Conference couldn't do shit. And they kept cranking the son of a bitch, and it pissed off every defense in the Gulf South Conference. Should be noted, the Gulf South Conference was basically the SEC at the time, in the sense that they did not throw the football. And, just to give you, let me just find what their, damn it, I can't find their school records, but every single one of their school records basically was, broken under that. And they were just a run-heavy offense. And here's what's crazy. After that, they're now, they're like, Valdosta State was nothing at the time. They're now a Division II powerhouse. They've been a Division II powerhouse since the 2000s. Or since 96. No, they won their first championship in 2004. And they've won in 2004, 2007, 2012, and 2018. And, yeah. And it's insane.
Nice.
They throw the ball a lot. They have a spread offense. At least they do now. I think they might have been a triple option team later, but yeah. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this stream. But I know we'll probably keep talking. So thank y'all for listening. You can check me out on Twitter or on the YouTube, or you can check out the Anchor podcast. Those are all linked in the About page. Check those out if you are so inclined, and I hope you are, if you would be so generous. But I hope y'all have a good week. I have been Ben Schluter. This has been the man with the plan who decided to join after planning out his smart everythings. Until next time, bye-bye!